G'day and welcome back to Down the Shed with Byron's $500 VT Commodore that I probably shouldn't have started. Now this is part 6 of the VT Commodore series, where in the last part 5, I'll put the link up here for you, I found that we had the rocker cover gaskets are leaking. Looks like the transmission is weeping. I'm hoping it's just a couple of loose bolts, but I was pretty sure I torqued them up. I got an electric aerial that I ended up going to Holden to buy because I brought one off eBay, and that saying poor man pays twice, and I got burnt with an eBay deal, but you get that. Anyway, Holden hooked me up here in Perth. So I've got an aerial to install, rocker cover gaskets. I've got a pulley for the front because one of the pulley bearings ended up being upset. So we've got a little bit of a squeak from one of the bearings. I'm hoping to get the interior, well, the lower half of the interior sorted, but otherwise it's pull my finger out and get stuck into it. Also, one thing I've been avoiding is that rust in the roof. I've got to get stuck into that. That's a priority. Now, I haven't started this up for a few months. We've been a little bit busy. Where will she go? I can hear the fuel pump. Oh. Nope, we're gonna have to get a jumper pack. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a video with Aussie Garage with one of their jumper packs called the Top Dong. It actually went all right. I'll put the link for that video in the description. Anyway, when adding your jumper pack, and this is what my uncle got me for Christmas. Cheers, mate. Positive on first, and then I always put negative on last. That's clicked, saying it's good to go. See if she starts up now. There we go. Remember that tick we were talking about? It's not there. I had a little bit to start off with. Again, negative off, positive off. Righto, let's bring it over to the shed. And finally, I've got a bit of room in the shed. You wouldn't believe it. Moved the VR Calais out because we did a bit of a marathon working away on the Bram, so I had to make a bit of room in the shed for when our mate Paul from Old School Only came over. Anyway, let's get it into the shed now. Okay, well, what we might start off with doing is a couple of easy wins first, which I'll probably do the idler pulley for the aircon. Well, that goes just at the top there. That's the second handy, but sounds good. But I did buy a new one for it. So we'll start off with something simple just to get the ball rolling. Now, I have made a full video on this back in the day of changing out your belt and pulleys. This one's a 13mm. Just undo that. I'm just going to crack that one first, sorry. So that's done. It's cracked. And then a 15mm on the tensioner. Pull that down. And we'll just drop that off the alternator for now. And again, you probably should take a note of which way the belt flows. We'll pull that off. There we go. That's off. See if we can, oh, you can feel it, see, notchy. It's bloody hot too. Yeah, it's not even spinning. So that's absolutely stuffed. Righto, let's double check that new one I brought. Yep, looks roughly the same size. But I got the metal one this time with a nice new bearing. Whew, beautiful. Slide that on. I already got a bit of grease on that pivot from last time. Comes with a new washer. We might as well put that on. Do that up. We'll just nip that up now. There's probably a torque for it. I would have to look through the book for you, but you sort of know. You got that feel. Yep, that's good. Okay, let's put the belt back on. Make sure the belt is sitting in all the ridges. Beautiful. Not on the aircon, there we go, on the aircon it is. Alright, we'll throw that one in the bin. Let's move on to the next job. Now I've just fired up the compressor, got a bit of compressed air. I'm just going to give around the top of the rocker covers a quick blow off before we go trying to pull them off. And as we knew, that'd be nice and clean because I gave it a good pressure clean ages ago. Next job, I thought I'll just connect the battery charger up just to give that a charge while we're doing some work on the old gal. Put the positive on first again, negative on last. Make sure we're the right settings. Okay, we'll leave that to charge up while we pull this apart. Now I've made a video on doing rocker cover gaskets once before. Basically 3/8 size socket, 1/4 inch or 3/8 drive ratchet, and you can just undo all these 6 bolts that hold the rocker cover down. I'll zip them off now and we'll put it on the bench and have a look. Now I am doing the easy side first, again just to get the ball rolling for the day. I'm just caught on the spark plug holding section. Oh yeah, we can just bend that out of the way a little bit. No, we can't. So now I'm stuck there. Here I was thinking this was the easy side, but I'll just take that little bracket off so it's out of the way, which is a 13mm nut holding that little bracket in place. I shouldn't have to take it off, but just loosen it up. There we go. Yeah, so I'll do a close-up bit of a photo on that in a minute. Alright, I'll bring you over to the bench to have a look at this, but I have a bad feeling about this. I'm going to have to show you guys in a minute. Here we go. We've got the rocker cover on the bench, and as you can see, that gasket is very, very flat. But look on the inside. Is that condensation or is that head gasket? Have a look in here. So that's when I went, oh bugger, what is that? But have we got pressure there? No. Might have to put the pressure tester on the system. We are just low on coolant, but well, let me know what you guys think it is. Anyway, we'll continue with these rocker cover gaskets. I'll get them replaced and then we'll put the coolant pressure tester onto the system. Just top the coolant up a little bit, but even here, blown head gasket, where would you see that iced coffee? Just in the oil where the coolant's going into the, oh, I should use my bucket. We got the coolant going into the engine oil. Oh, I am putting a fair bit in, eh? Uh-oh, that's not a good sign. We'll just pull that dipstick out and have a quick gander on that as well. Have I triggered something on this car? It doesn't want to be back on the road. Let's have a look. Ah, that's shit. It shouldn't be full there. Ah, man. I can hear a gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Where is that going? Right. Put the pressure tester on there anyway, and we'll just have a gander and see what we get. Should be just like that. And I should be able to pump you up. There we go, I just wasn't holding my tongue right. Okay, I've got that just held at about 10 psi. We'll see what happens, but just off that allocation of the dipstick, I'm gonna say there is definitely got to be coolant getting into that oil system somehow. Bugger. Well, it wouldn't be YouTube without a drama, would it? Oh, we'll get these rocker cover gaskets done while I'm doing this. No, we won't. We're not going to do those rocker cover gaskets. I pulled the rocker cover off the passenger side and I'm having a look inside that, and it's pretty much the same. So I'm wasting my time even doing those gaskets at the moment. Pressure's dropped down. Where could the coolant leak be? Does the intake manifold leak into the engine oil system? Or do you reckon it'd be a head gasket? I guess the next stage would be pull the spark plugs out and have a look at those again and see if we've got a wet cylinder maybe. Now, after smashing down a coffee, a couple of bottles of confidence, I've had a brainstorm about it. Got spark plugs out, which I'll show you now. So I'll put a picture of the spark plugs up now because the video doesn't really bring it up, but they look perfectly okay to me. So I'm thinking, should we just rip that intake manifold off and have a look at those gaskets? Because when I first drained the engine oil, didn't see any, what's the word for it? Remnants of water in it. The second time we drained it, because I had that lifter tick, I didn't have any water in it then. It's only since I've had it running for at least, maybe an hour or two, and then revisiting the car, like what? It's a month and a bit since I last started up and we found the coolant in the oil. I'm hoping it's the intake manifold gaskets. What I'm hoping to do is I'll make a video on doing the intake manifold gaskets, because I think that'll help a lot of people out with a DIY of how Byron does that. It's not going to be exactly how to do it, but how I'll go about doing it. So for now, I'm going to get stuck into those rocker cover gaskets anyway. I'm going to change them out and we'll sort out that bloody rust in the roof. I'll pull that back, we'll pop that trim off, get that out of the way and put some rust converter back onto that. That way the rust converter stuff can do its magic while we play with the engine. Okay, a little bit of a play around to get this trim off. Now I just used a plastic trim removing tool and just pried it underneath the seal here and popped it up, and then just got a good old Aussie garage stubby holder to hold it out of the way. Used a bit of rope just to hold the seal up. I might need something a little bit smaller on this side, but look at the crud that's just underneath that roof rail. So I did try at the back here, but I felt like I was going to bust it or pop it, so I just left it as is for now. I'll get the compressor going, blow out all this leaf matter that's inside the gutter there, and then we'll get the wire wheel and just descale whatever rust is there, and hopefully, well, it won't go too hard, but just enough just to get any of that crud out of the way, and then we'll put the rust converter on. Well guys, I don't think that actually turned out too bad. With a little bit of polishing there, it's okay. I'll just put some rust converter on that now, and we'll leave that and see what it looks like probably tomorrow. While we let that rust converter set in, I've just got the rocker cover gasket out of the driver's side one, and we'll do the same on the passenger side. So literally just get a little seal pick underneath, and that just pops that gasket out. Now with the bolts, you just pull them out. They've got a little rubber section, pops off, and that's pretty much what you do with the lot. Now I want to give these covers a decent clean out. I'm going to use a bit of degrease, give them a bit of a scrub and wash them up. So I won't put the gasket in that yet, but with these little, well, the retaining bolts, I'll show you the rubber you got to put on. And again, I did trial a eBay special rocker cover gasket kit, cheap as chips. We'll be able to pull these new rubbers out. And again, I'll rubber grease these first, and then they literally slide on like that. Put it onto the bolt. Now push it in. There we go. Doesn't matter which way you do it. But I will give these a bit of a lube up and put them together once I've washed these up. I'll just push those to the side for a minute and show you the new aerial. So this Commodore doesn't have an electric aerial, so it doesn't matter anyway. But this is one of those aftermarket ones that isn't compliant with your Calais, Statesman, anything that you can control your aerial up or down. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to have a look at it and see what we need to make it work. So I'm presuming, obviously, red would be power, white would be earth? Or was that our earth there? Was that earth for the aerial? Anyway, we'll give it a go. So I've just pulled the harness out of the Statesman, and what have we got there? We've got green and grey, and we've got blue and black, so that should plug into that. We should have a look at this end, and we should be able to make that work. Strip that off. What did I say we needed? Grey and green. So we'll have a look here. Okay, I've got a bit of a setup going here. So green is your main power wire going to the aerial. The grey one is technically like, it's like a relay. That's your signal line or signal wire. So, and then you've got the earth, which I've just earthed to the frame here, the black wire. And if we connect the grey as if it's a signal, so you've just turned the stereo on, so your radio signal, and we should go. There we go. Woohoo! She's up in the air. Disconnect that. She comes down. Okay, so in my idea, we need to hook the green wire to your main power of your stereo. And the green one, I think we'd hook that up to the remote wire. So when you turn, or your accessories, when you turn it on, is that right? Something along those lines. Now just having a look at a deck I've got here that I'm going to use in another car. But from what I remember, is that wire there, the blue one, power remote out, that you send, it sends the signal to your amp to turn on. You could use that as a trigger. So you'd connect that one to the grey wire, which in our case is the white wire on the actual aerial. Otherwise, you could just go red, your main power wire, to your stereo, to the green, like that. And then your accessories, you could just have run like that, to the grey. Then that way when you turn the key to on for your stereo, sends power to that yellow one, which then powers up your aerial. Okay, so I hope that made complete sense. So we've got the earth connected, green to our positive of our battery. So that green wire that comes through the harness goes up and plugs into the red. So our white is our trigger or exciter wire or something you want to call it, which is followed back to the original harness, which is grey. If we power that up, you ready? Woo! There we go. I hope I didn't make that too confusing for you. So if you are putting one of these aerials into your Commodore, there's probably a bit of a heads up. Now I know I did stuff up my dad's Calais, so I might have to look back into that when I fly back over to Adelaide next time and see if I can sort that out for Dad. Well, tomorrow we will jack up this side of the car. I'll pull that wheel off, we'll put the aerial in, and I'm not sure if the harness is there, but we'll push it through the kick panel on the side anyway, so that way it's in place for when we put another stereo into it. Back into it today, car is jacked up, battery is charged, rust converter has done its magic. I started taping up just to give it a bit of a prime. And at the same time, having my coffee, I've come down here and went, bugger. There's another spot to sort out. Anyway, got over that, sorted out the rocker covers. I've given those a good clean out, got the gaskets back in, bit of rubber grease around them, so they're ready to reinstall. Put the spark plugs back in, and we'll get that aerial back in as well. Just having a look under there quickly, it's going to take about 3.5 seconds to pull the old one out. With the Phillips head screwdriver, we'll be able to disconnect the earth. A 13mm socket, just undo that bolt. And just like that, it's out. Now I can't remember if I disconnected the cable for the aerial on the inside, but we'll get away with just chopping it for now. And there we go, done. Just get that off. So we've got the grommet here for the aerial. I might just run the wiring through that and then we'll be able to push that back through. So there we go, I've just pushed the wiring through that grommet so we can push that back through the A-pillar kick panel. Reinstall the aerial. Make sure I get it around the right way. All right, aerial is mounted again. I end up running the wiring for the aerial back through what's factory. It's meant to be through that grommet because it was too hard to go for the aerial grommet, which is at the back. I end up taking the indicator out so I could actually get in behind there. I don't know if you can see, no. But anyway, then I've mounted the aerial so it just sticks out. What I'll do next is we'll jump into that footwell. I'll make sure the wiring's in a suitable spot so I can access it once I've got that kick panel out of the way, and then we can wire that up and do that at a later date. I've put a bit of primer on the roof, so that's that done for now. Let's pop up this rear section gently, and hopefully we can wire brush that quickly and put some rust converter on it. Rust converter done. I was just thinking before I should put that inner wheel guard back in, but I was thinking no, I'll wait until we have tested it on the inside, and then I'll as long as it works, I'll be happy to put that inner wheel arch back in. It's probably time to throw some rocker covers, spark plugs back in it, and rocker covers on. And then we'll look at setting it up ready to do that valley gasket kit. All right, now with a bit of a wipe around the sealing surface on top of the cylinder head here, where the rocker cover goes. The compressor knows exactly when to time itself, doesn't it? Let's get this rocker cover back on. Hopefully don't disturb the gasket. Now, for some eBay special gaskets, these ones have gone really well. You know how you get some out of a packet and they just want to stay twisted up? Well, these ones have actually stayed in the right shape, which is great. I'll start in the middle and we'll work my way out. Let's get them done up by hand, so FT for now, finger tight. And there we go. Rocker covers are back on, spark plugs are in. Good to go. I wish. Oh well, that's the problem with playing with old cars, isn't it? But we'll make it happen. Down in the kick panel now, pulled the ECM out, and I have got the two wires there for the aerial, the green and the grey. So the green is the main power and the grey is for the exciter wire to acknowledge it to go up. I've got the aerial connected just back here. I've got a green wire here from the battery, so we'll test it out. So really, if I just connect that to that,
it should go up.
Fingers crossed we get something right. So I've got the main power wire, e.g. from the battery. I'm going straight onto that green. Now I'll get that grey. There we go. It's going up, which is a good sign. Okay, so now you've got your tunes going, you turn the car off, so your accessories drops out, so that grey wire comes off the power wire, and down it comes. Sweet, another dirty thumbs up. And on that note, let's have a bottle of confidence to celebrate with our mate Grumpy's Garage stubby holder. If you're watching, mate, dirty thumbs up. I won this in one of his competitions. Mad. Now I'll get stuck into putting that wheel arch back in later, sorting out that roof. I'll keep you updated a little bit later on that. But I've got another massive shout out to my members. I'd like to give you a massive thank you because you guys have helped me out with the Valley Kit gasket kit. Here we go. I like my mates, we've got some oil, another filter, and I've got another plan for that as well. And then we've got the Valley gasket kit. So thank you guys for that. Really, really appreciate it. What I'm thinking when I do this Valley gasket kit, fingers crossed, that's our main problem with the water ingress into the engine, that I might run 5 litres of diesel engine oil in it for 10 minutes or so just to give it a flush. So I'm gonna have a think about that, but I reckon that's a good idea. Now I hope you enjoyed the video of the old VT Commodore. Hopefully we can get it back on the road. Fingers crossed we can, because it's not going to be a bad car once it's up and going. There's going to be a few other little gremlins that are going to pop their heads up, but we're just going to have to deal with them when they rock up. Aircon's not working, stereo's not working, but that's not a biggie. The next thing I remembered, I slightly forgot, was the transmission oil leak. So I'll do that later as well, and I'll update you on what's going on then. Righto guys, dirty thumbs up, take it easy, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.